Chicago Bears head coaching search is officially underway. Several interview requests have been put out there by general manager Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren. We'll talk about those names and let you know what we know up to this point and give my reaction as well. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. And listen, the offseason's here. That's the focus now. But we haven't had a Victory Monday in a while, and we haven't had a Victory Monday against the Packers in the history of this channel. So for one final time for the 2024 season, we'll of course say it during the offseason, can we get an FGB chant in the comments? I mean, that was awesome. I don't care who was playing, who wasn't. Season sucked, but to end on that note, that was absolutely electric. Get the FGBs going in the comment section below. Now it's about getting the right head coach to hopefully beat the Packers more consistently and be a more consistent contender, or just be a contender, period, because this team hasn't been. Ben Johnson, interview request has been placed for the Lions offensive coordinator, and this note just came in right before we started filming. NFL Network, I think Tom Pelissero reporting that Johnson plans to interview with the Bears and the Patriots this week, a signal that he is interested in both jobs. Because remember that report that he will only interview with teams, like accept interviews, if he could envision himself coaching for that franchise. So that's a good sign. That means he's at least interested in the Bears. Now it's up to the Bears to prove that they're the right franchise for him. Patriots opening up gets me a little nervous. Drake May, all that stuff. Better ownership. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, this guy's offense is what it is. We know the story. They've been top 5 in every category essentially for 3 years now, tied for 6th in turnovers, but who cares? Points, yards, EPA, like every metric you look at, they're at or near the top of the list. If you average the last 3 years, they're basically the second best offense in the NFL behind the Baltimore Ravens overall. So they've been absolutely fantastic. This needs to be the Bears' priority. Obviously, you're going to interview other candidates. Obviously, they've put out other interview requests. You have to have contingency plans. But to me, Ben Johnson has to be the guy you go all in for. And with the Lions having that first-round bye, he can interview this week. So could Aaron Glenn, by the way. We'll get to him in a second. But I just think he is the answer for Caleb Williams. He is the answer. I think him going back to Detroit, building more calluses, getting more experience, being around winning, being a big reason they have been winning. I like that. And it sounds like it could come down to the Bears and Patriots for which job that he wants. I think the Bears are in a better position roster-wise, but the Patriots have better ownership. So it could come down to the little details. And Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, get your big boy pants on because you better get this right. And Ben Johnson is the top candidate, in my opinion, in this cycle. Is he your top candidate, Bears fans? I want to hear from you. Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Pin comment on today's video. Is Ben Johnson your top head coaching candidate? Let us know during this YouTube ad break. All right, so the Bears have already put out requests for Ben Johnson. They also have for the other Lions coordinator, who I would expect interviews this week as well because they have a bye week. That would be Aaron Glenn. And look, their defense down the stretch statistically wasn't great, although it was awesome last night. They shut down Sam Darnold in that Vikings offense. Some of that was Darnold had a bad game, but considering the injuries that they've been peppered with this year, I think this is easily the best year he's had as their defensive coordinator. People in NFL circles view him as a high-level leader of men type. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. I don't think the Bears are the perfect fit for him and really for the Bears either, because I think they need to go offense. They need to infuse some juice into Caleb Williams and this offense moving forward. I think the Saints make a lot of sense for Aaron Glenn, but he's absolutely worthy of an interview, and I would expect that to take place. Anthony Weaver, it was reported late last week that from Diana Rossini that the Dolphins defensive coordinator is on the Bears' radar. They have put in an interview request for him as well. Top 5 in total defense, top 10 in scoring defense. I think he needs more experience. He was a DC for one season with the Texans in 2020. This is his first year as a DC with the Dolphins, only 2 total years with 3 years in between as not being a coordinator. I want to see a guy like this get more experience before I'm making him my head coach. High-level guy, was with the Ravens organization, big part of their historic defense last year. I think he has a bright future ahead, but to me, this cannot be the guy you end up hiring to be your next head coach when there are just simply more qualified coaches, regardless of offense or defense. There's just guys with more skins on the wall and more experience up to this point. All right, today's show is sponsored by Rocket Money. We got through the holidays, which means if you spend a lot of money in December, that happens, traveling, gifts, etc. It's now time to get back on track with Rocket Money, a personal finance app that can help you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. In 2025, I want to save as much money as possible as my son is going to turn 2 this year, so really got to focus on the future and be able to save and start get the college fund going and all that stuff. Rocket Money has helped me save a ton of money by helping me get rid of subscriptions I no longer want, list it all out on one screen, and you can figure out how much per month you're paying on those subscriptions, and if you don't want certain ones anymore, with a few clicks later, you can get those subscriptions canceled thanks to Rocket Money. I mentioned also they can help you lower your bills by up to 20%. All you got to do is upload a photo of your bill, and they will search around and find the best deal possible, either with a different service for your electric bill, phone bill, whatever the case may be, sometimes up to 20% cheaper options. So take advantage of that. And just like general financial things, like you can see how much you're spending on certain categories, food, gas, travel, etc. And if you want to lower in certain areas, you can do that. They can help you set budgets and stay on top of those. You can stay on top of your credit score as well. Just a really user-friendly financial app. I like it better than any banking app I've ever used. Really awesome app. RocketMoney.com/Bears now. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions today by going to RocketMoney.com/Bears now. Use our link to download the app. It helps support us. Okay, Drew Petzing, a guy, I don't know if we've talked about him or not, the Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator. Couple notes here. McVay guy, he's been the Cardinals OC for 2 years now. I'd like to see more. Their offense was a little hit and miss this year, but they also have a quarterback who's a little hit and miss in Kyler Murray. And I will say this, Kyler Murray is a similar stylistic quarterback to Caleb Williams, right? Comes from a similar background playing under Lincoln Riley. Strong arm, can move around, do things like that. So from that standpoint, he would have familiarity working with a play style quarterback like Kyler. I'm not saying Caleb and Kyler are apples to apples, but they come from similar backgrounds in terms of the offenses they played in college and their skill set. So, it's an interesting name. Again, it kind of feels like Anthony Weaver to me, like bright guy on the rise. Not sure he's ready for this, but, I have no problem really with anybody that you interview. So there's that. Okay, Mike Vrabel, you don't have to request to interview him, or you have to request him personally, but a team doesn't have to approve. Obviously, he is unemployed as his consulting gig wrapped up with the Browns last week. Now, a lot of buzz on Vrabel and the Patriots right now as New England fired Gerard Mayo yesterday. Many believe Robert Kraft is going to push hard to bring Vrabel back. He inducted Vrabel into their Ring of Honor last year. He obviously won, I think, 3 Super Bowls as a player with the Patriots. He loves that organization. That organization loves him. I think he would have probably picked the Patriots. Now, it certainly sounds like they're going to look at Ben Johnson as well, which makes me nervous. I would rather have Ben Johnson, but I like Mike Vrabel a lot. If you told me the Patriots got Johnson and the Bears got Vrabel, I wouldn't be in shambles. I'd rather that be the other way around. I'd rather the Vrabel go to the Patriots and the Bears get Johnson, but, we'll see how these situations plan out. I will say this. If Vrabel to the Patriots does have steam and the Bears are interested in Vrabel, it's been reported he's going to interview this week with the Bears, but does that change if the Patriots fast-track to hire him? Who knows? If you're the Bears and you're serious about Vrabel, you better act quick because there seems to be a lot of momentum there. He also had a good interview with the Jets, apparently. If the Raiders open up, I think there'd be mutual interest there. So we'll see what Vrabel's timeline is. I could see a scenario where Vrabel to the Patriots is the first coach hiring of this cycle. If he wants to go there and if the Crafts are all in on him, I could see that being done sooner rather than later. All right, pick a coach. Who would you rather have? Type MV for Mike Vrabel, BJ for Ben Johnson. I would rather have Ben Johnson. Obviously, Vrabel's been there, done that. probably higher floor candidate. Ben Johnson, I think higher ceiling, especially with the personnel and the quarterback that the Bears currently have in Caleb Williams. BJ for Johnson, MV for Vrabel. Get your thoughts in, votes in on that as well. Okay, subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started this offseason. Coaching search updates, rumors, more offseason coverage with free agency, draft. We'll probably do a fresh mock draft this week at some point with the Bears locked in at the number 10 pick. 3 picks in the top 41, so that's exciting. Free agent coverage as well. We'll have top free agent targets. We'll take a look at the Bears' own free agents and figure out which guys they should bring back. All of that to come in the coming days and weeks. So lock us in here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, Thomas Brown is going to get a interview for the head coaching job. Ryan Poles said that yesterday on ESPN 1000. Brown confirmed that today with his final media session in Chicago. They're going to do exit interviews with players. Then I would imagine the next few days he'll interview with Poles and Warren. He had some interesting comments. I was just listening before we went on the show. And look, I don't think he'll get the gig. Maybe the next head coach keeps him, depending on who that is. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But Brown didn't. He was asked specifically, if you got another season with Caleb Williams, how would the offense look? And he said a lot different. So in other words, I think he wasn't making excuses, but I think he was saying, look, I had to run Waldron's playbook. Like that's not my offense. Look, I don't think he'll be the head coach here. Is there a scenario where he's the play caller if you bring in a defensive guy like a Brian Flores? Who knows? So it would be interesting to see what his offense would look like. I'm not necessarily rooting for that scenario. You guys know where I stand. I want Ben Johnson. But regardless of what happens, I do wish this guy well. I think he did the best he could with the cards he was given, getting 2 promotions in a chaotic situation. And, hey, he beat the Packers on the way out. If this is it for him in Chicago, I wish him well. But obviously we'll have updates there as he is going to interview. Lastly, Mike Silver of The Athletic reported that the Bears have interest in Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph. Now, as of filming this, there hasn't been a formal interview request placed. Even if there is, the Broncos play this week, so they can't interview Joseph until next week after their playoff game. So there's that. Joseph's done a hell of a job with the Broncos. Remember last year, they gave up 70 points to the Dolphins in his first year, and it was like, oh, my God, this is a disaster. Well, they've had one of the better units in the NFL this year. That being said, defense, like it's one thing to hire like a retread like Mike Vrabel, who had high-level success as a head coach. Joseph did not. I think some guys are just coordinators. Feels like Vance Joseph is probably just a coordinator, but he's done a really good job this year, so we'll see if they end up interviewing him. All right, that's all for now. That's where things stand in terms of the head coaching cycle. I'm just going to refresh my Twitter, make sure there's no new names here, and be sure to join us this afternoon, 4 o'clock Central Time roughly. We will go live with the latest Bears news, coaching search buzz, and everything else. And as I'm checking now, no new names have surfaced. So that's where things sit now in terms of the interview request process. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys this afternoon, so subscribe and turn on notifications.